Artistic movements throughout American history have displayed a large impact on cultural, social, and political processes in the United States. What is art history? Art history is the use of the arts as a means of visualization for the times they were created in. The term art does not only mean paintings, it encompasses music, novels, poetry, photography, and so much more. It is mostly used by historians in order to understand the past and interpret the symbolism behind every brushstroke or lyric. It also allows audiences to understand the present and prepare for the future. Without it, we would not fully grasp the importance of the culture, traditions, or social movements as well as we do now. From this, we know that the various artistic movements throughout American history have displayed a large impact on cultural, social, and political processes in the United States. America has a vast history of various cultures and traditions. The culture of America has several different contributing factors as well. It is often referred to as a mixing pot, meaning it is a blend of other countries' beliefs and values. Occupants of other countries have immigrated to the United States for thousands of years and have brought over their customs. The Harlem Renaissance was a period where African American artists, writers, musicians, and more became prominent and used their platform to change the culture of America. Jazz music is just one of the many things that grew during this time. Musicians such as Duke Ellington and Billie Holiday contributed to the jazz age through their vibrant vocals and performances. Jazz music also introduced new rhythmic styles and instrumental techniques that changed the shape of music forever. Another period that had a big cultural effect was the Great Depression. This was the lowest point of the country, not only economically, but also culturally. Because of this, there was a lot of sadness throughout the country. As a response, the artistic movements shifted towards uplifting pieces in order to keep the people entertained while also reflecting on simpler times and traditionalism. Films, novels, and art projects dreamed of what was to come and longed for what they had in the past, seen in movies such as Gone with the Wind and stories by William Faulkner. Faulkner portrayed the theme of celebrating the American way of life through his works that focused on life in the South. While the Great Migration and the Great Depression are viewed as upsetting moments in American history due to the many hardships citizens had to go through, both brought attention to artistic talents and showed how triumphant Americans could be. In America, social movements have been a way for activists to make a change for the better. These movements start out as small efforts by individuals who are passionate about a goal and evolve into mass groups of people striving to achieve that same goal. In a broad sense, the Civil Rights Movement was the aim of African Americans to achieve equal rights in America. They fought for legal rights, for fair treatment, equal opportunities, and an end to discrimination. During this time, activists expressed their various emotions and calls for change through their art. Photographs allowed expressions to be perfectly captured and easily interpreted in order to understand the bigger picture behind the shot. Infamous photographs, like that taken of the Little Rock Nine being prevented from entering their newly unsegregated school, to that of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks marching into Montgomery, portrayed the core of the civil rights movement. Artistic pieces varied from pop art to minimalism and had a range of aesthetics and emotions, just as the people did. While several pieces portrayed the rage many African Americans felt, many also showed the optimistic nature of the protests. Lastly, writers used their words to share the beauty of Black culture and fight for political rights. Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou wrote about lives of African Americans at this time and showed how tough survival was. Many also wanted to uplift the Black community during these times and expressed positive Black images as well as catered with the goal of the civil rights agenda. Political processes are those that contribute to interactions between a local or federal government with the general public, such as the public wanting a revision in government policies. Political movements, like social movements, are efforts by organized groups calling for a change. Their goals are towards removing or adding more just government policies. During the upbringing of the country, the states found it difficult to be united with one another and often disastrously protested government laws. After realizing that they needed to work together in order to remain a successful country, the states united and grew a strong dedication to their government. Nationalism was apparent in many works of art through the portrayal of simple American life. Art schools, such as the Hudson River School and the Rocky Mountain School, emerged during this time. Paintings from these schools emphasized the abandonment of European influence and focused on the beauty of the American West. These realistic depictions of nature showed how Americans were fascinated with the beauty of the country and caused a rise in American pride. Music such as America the Beautiful and the Star-Spangled Banner also showed how Americans appreciated their country for its beauty and bravery. The abolitionist movement was the social and political movement beginning in the mid-1800s that worked to end slavery in America. In order to bring attention to their cause, they formed anti-slavery groups, increasing the tension between those against and those for slavery. Supporters and members of these groups used art to give African Americans the voices they desperately needed. Novels like Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe caused a great stir in the relations between the North and the South. The book told the story of the separation of family members and brought attention to the brutal treatment of slaves. Paintings, such as Ira Crow's Slaves Waiting for Sale in Richmond, Virginia, depicted the anger of slaves and demonstrated the harsh realities they had to go through, leaving some white Americans with a feeling of guilt. This art not only showed how important change was for America to be a free country, but also urged new followers to join their cause. As America continues to grow as a nation, we can understand more about its history and the importance of our past through various art forms. In conclusion, the many detailed works of art created by well-known painters, musicians, writers, photographers, and much more allow historians to capture the true feelings of American citizens during these times.